Hi and welcome to Law App. This is a brief training video on how to enter a trust receipt into the Law App system. Go to Trust on the left menu and then Trust Receipts. You'll get a list of all the receipts that are on your Law App system, and you can check to make sure that you haven't already receipted the money. When you're ready, press plus to add a receipt. You then asked who the money was received from. If the person is in your system, they will start to show up as you type. If they aren't in your system, you can simply continue to type and then tab past, and you'll be able to keep typing without choosing someone from the system. For and on behalf of is dependent on the circumstances of the money. If a person comes in and pays money to you on behalf of another person, you should enter that person that they're paying on behalf of, especially if they ask you to make the receipt out to themselves. The description is an autocomplete field, so if it is for costs and outlays and you've not used cost and outlays before, you can add it to the receipt area. Now, every time you come in, if you start typing costs and outlays, then you'll be able to select that from the drop-down list. If it's something you're doing just as a once-off, don't add it to the description list. The receipt is always issued as at today's date. The date received, however, could be a different date. It may have come in through the banking system on a prior date. For me, I've noticed it as at today's date, so I'm going to make it today's date. The dates are an important function inside of the receiving area. If I'm receiving monies, as in a check, then when I receive the money is important because it may have come in on the mail, say, a few days ago. It's made it to the accounts department today, and I've issued the receipt for that money today. However, I'm not going to take it down to the bank until tomorrow. So that gives us 3 very clear days. The date issue is today, and the date received is 2 or 3 days ago, and the date of deposit is tomorrow. So keep all of those things in mind. It's really important because if it is a check, then those funds need to only start clearing from the deposit date, not from the date received or the date issued. If I flag add a deposit slip as own, then that means the system will create this money on a deposit slip of its own. And given the prevalence of using electronic funds payments, most EFT payments come in on their own. So 99% of all receipts will be added to a deposit slip without you doing any work. If you do need to join or build deposit slips later, you can flag either of those items. If you're taking multiple items down to the bank together, I suggest build later, and then you can go into the deposit area and add the receipts to the deposit slip and produce a deposit slip for yourself. If you do choose build later or joint, is imperative that you finish the deposit slip in the deposit area for trust. I can then move forward. The rest of these items are less important. They will fill in automatically. If you notice that there is a bank reference description on the statement and you'd like to copy and paste that into the bank reference area, you can do so using the bank reference receipt. You don't have to, but especially if you're receiving money in relation to settlement or any PEXA or anything that has long ID numbers that you may need to match in a bank rec scenario, it's a really good idea to enter that data in. All I need to do now is press save, and I'm created a new trust receipt. I haven't allocated the receipt to any lines or any money into any files yet. So then I'm presented with this trust line automatically. I can press add to do more than one, but let's just do a single one, which is the most common. I'm going to put this to a matter of Goran. It'll find all the Goran files, and I choose the one that relates to me, and it's got costs and outlays as the reason, and then the amount is the amount that I received into the bank account. When I'm ready, I can press save. That receipt is now completed to a draft level. I can finalize it, closing it off, and press the print button. If you exit this transaction in any way, it will lock. So you're best to finalize it in the moment. We have a receipt here, a client copy and an office copy. If you would prefer to have the trust receipt on a single page, then you can simply pop down the bottom there and choose a different receipt layout. You can print it to a printer, PDF, save it to the file, or email it to your client. Most regulatory areas required the person who made out the receipt to be the one to sign it. And I can close. That's it. That's how I do a receipt in the Law App system. It's fairly simple. Thanks for joining me on how to do a trust receipt.